Don't let this chapter distract you from the fact that Big Mom is somewhere on a beach questioning where she is right now, and probably looking at, Chopper as probably a midnight or late day snack. But okay, all jokes aside, Orochi got a lot of characterization in this chapter. There's been a lot of, topics and just a big amount of discussion on Orochi as a character, and will he be a joke or will he be a serious boss fight in this arc? And after seeing this chapter, I still don't really know how to peg him. I don't know how strong he is, or if he's a joke. I mean, when you see his human-like appearance, he looks like a Wario clone. He looks like Wario. He kind of looks like a weird character, which that's typically how Oda draws his characters. But when you see his Devil Fruit activate, and you see, like, this Orochi, type mythological beast come out of him, for instance, looking like the actual mythological beast Orochi, he has 8 heads, just like the myth is, and the heads actually do not look like a joke. They actually look really menacing. He looks like he is actually incredibly powerful, which makes me wonder. It makes me wonder where Oda is going to take Orochi's character, because there's one big thing we got from this chapter, is that Orochi, the only reason why he survived this long, and the only reason why he's been here so long as the Shogun, is because he has survival instincts. He is someone that thinks ahead. He is someone that worries about the future. He is not short-sighted. He looks into the future. And that is why he's here right now. And in this case, seeing how he was not underestimating Kinemon or anyone else a part of the samurais or, Luffy and his crew or whatever, makes me respect him automatically. When I see a villain or a main head honcho, actually worried and nervous about something and trying to constantly remind people around him that there is a threat out there, that I respect, because he's not underestimating his opponents. He's going to, take it in stride. He's going to take it at face value and try to bring down the people that, stand before him, and he believes that there always will be someone ready to drag him down from his throne, which is very realistic, honestly. When you think about how royalty is, or kings of the past, or queens of the past, they always had to worry about assassinations. They had to worry about people trying to come after their throne. For instance, let's say there was a powerful king or queen, they would have to worry about their family members coming in, trying to betray them, and completely removing them from the throne, and having someone step in and actually commanding the entire country. You could see that Orochi as a character, he's someone that is worried about this. He's not just worried about probably a threat that's been 20 years in the making from Kinemon, but he also, as an individual, he's someone that worries about outside forces. He worries about outsiders. He worries about people that could probably be his family that might mess with him. He's just overall a very nervous dude, and he uses what he can to get what he wants. And let's go back to what's been discussed heavily about his character, what he did to CP0. He shot CP0 point blank, not caring, even demanded Vegapunk. He wanted Vegapunk to be there. That is not something a normal person will do. And it made many discuss about his character. Is he just crazy? Is he dumb? And after seeing how he's constantly worried about, the whole situation with Kinemon, it puts in perspective, he's not really worried about CP0. He's got them in his pocket. He knows for a fact that they will continue to fall through with what he wants, as long as he keeps offering them what they need. And so, he knows he has the upper hand in terms of the diplomatic, discussion. And that right there says a lot about his character. He does have, a problem about him. If someone laughs about him being scared or nervous, he will try to end them, which we see in this chapter, which leads into Komurasaki, I think that's her name, how you pronounce it, how she intervenes and slaps the Shogun in the face, which I'll get into her in a second. But the point stands is that he is someone that does have a problem about people laughing at him, and he doesn't want to admit he's scared, but he is someone that's realistic. He wants to worry. He wants to be able to think about any outcome that can happen, the worst case scenario. So I respect that. Orochi as a character, he's definitely earned a lot of praise in my opinion after this chapter of what he has done, because I thought he was going to be a joke, but he's obviously not going to be one. So, let's talk about Komurasaki. I think, like I said, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. If you did not already think that she was Momo's sister, then you definitely had it, like, thrown into your face for this chapter, because there's multiple times throughout this chapter where Oda is basically outright saying that Komurasaki is Momo's younger sister. I mean, the whole panel to when Momo is being mentioned by Orochi, and you see it panel over to, Komurasaki, you're like, okay, for Momo to be mentioned, and it pans over to her face, and showing it looking really messed up or saddened a little bit, you're like, okay, so there obviously is a connection there. But it doesn't just stop there. It also... There was a scene at the beginning of the chapter where she always puts on a mask when she's doing a certain song. And it's like, the people are discussing, she always puts on this mask, and they're like, why does she always do that? I'm assuming when she puts on that mask, she remembers her family, she remembers the person that taught her, most likely her mother, and, she performs that, and when she puts on the mask, she's hiding her tears, her sad face or whatever. So I'm assuming that's the reason why she puts on the mask, is because she cries, and she doesn't want anyone to see how sad she is, because it's not something that a geisha should really do, and so that's why she puts on the mask. So yeah. I mean, there is some clarification here, but it's out right in the open that Komurasaki is Momo's younger sister. I mean, the time frame with, like, the 20 years to how old she looks, she's all in the right areas for being Momo's sister, and you cannot really deny it after this chapter. You could say this is like a misleading from Oda, like he's misleading us to think that maybe it is Momo's sister, but in reality it isn't. But there's definitely something going on there, and it's definitely going to be something very important as, this arc continues. By the way, let's talk about how identical Robin and Komurasaki look. Now, this could be up to just Oda's design and characters, because it's not the first time of him drawing a female character and them looking very similar to other female characters. Let's, look at the Nami clones of this series. Oda, if there's one thing I will knock him on out of anything for the series, One Piece is a great series, but there's one thing I will knock him on, is that when it comes to his female character designs, they can be a little bit, similar. They're very similar, kind of like clones, so to say. And when you read this chapter and you see Robin and when you see Komurasaki, you could easily mistaken Komurasaki for Robin or vice versa. And I'm just like, Oda, please, please. I mean, the only way, honestly, I was able to really know who was who was because of the clothing on the characters. If it wasn't for the headpiece for Komurasaki, I probably would have thought that was Robin. I'm not gonna lie. And so, that right there, I do wonder if this is just a typical thing that Oda does, for instance, just having, like, characters look very similar, or if Robin, in some shape or form in this, arc, she's going to dress up very similar to Komurasaki to help her out, because let's go on a limb here. Let's say Komurasaki is Momo's younger sister, okay? Let's just go with it and say that is the case. This would mean that it would make sense for Robin to look very similar to her, because if she needs to get out of the capital to be safe, because obviously Orochi wants to hunt down, Odin's bloodline, and obviously getting rid of her would be very important because it's a threat to his throne. And as I've already talked about in this video, he is worried about his position of power. So it would make sense, because you see this in stories, to where royalty, if there is like a doppelganger, someone that looks very similar to them, they'll be exchanged out. And which would mean that Robin would be like bait to get Komurasaki out of the capital. So, like I said, hypothetically, if Komurasaki is Momo's younger sister, Robin could be used as a disguise or a decoy for her to get out. It's happened many times in stories. I've seen it happen many times in this type of era of, the Japanese era of stories. I've just seen it constantly. So I think that could be where Oda is going with the identical looks that Robin has with her. And also, Orochi did take an interest in her, so I do feel like, she did dress up very similar to, Komurasaki, then he might actually mistaken both of them. So, yeah. Anyways, what else is there really to talk about? I guess, the 11 Ninja. So, there's really not much more to really discuss when it comes to their characters, but they are definitely a threat. They're not weak by any means. They instantly took out Robin's, clone, her flower clone, like nothing. And it was, in a brief second. It shows that they're very skilled, and you should not underestimate them. And I feel like they're probably going to be one of the biggest fights, at least a part of the samurais that we've seen, or, Wano. Besides the Beast Pirates and, Kaido's men, I feel like the ninjas are probably going to be the strongest forces because of just the way, their designs are and how Oda's kind of building them up in this chapter. But I think that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified. So if you do want to get notified, hit that bell icon. And with that, I love you guys. Chibi out.